For more on this, John Yen Wong joins us. He's the founding chairman of the Asian Real Estate Association of America. Welcome to the show. So let's just, I guess, take this head on. Are there concerns that this is blatantly discriminatory?
I think the end results can be termed as that. And I know that historically what happens when there's anxiety in the air, occasionally laws are passed that have far-reaching effects beyond their original intention. And some of the laws now, and the most high-profile one is the one that was just commented about in Texas, is that it was a concern regarding national security, but the end result of the law was far-reaching and beyond the scope of what national security concerns were. The Asian Real Estate Association chapters in Texas, the four of them, working together with the Texas Association of Realtors, had conversations with the lawmakers, and there have been some changes made. I know that it was mentioned also in the intro that it's appearing in other states, in Florida and others. And AREA is bringing, in my opinion, some rational discussion about how to balance real national security.
Are you working with the legislature because you are in favor of this law, or are you working with them because you want to modify the potential law?
We are working to modify it. And as I mentioned, that the laws are too overreaching. And this includes two federal bills in Washington, D.C., Senate Bill 168 and House Bill 683, that have some components that may have the same result. So AREA is actively working with the lawmakers in Washington, D.C., and with lawmakers in the different states to develop a deeper understanding of the importance of individuals who are immigrants to this country and to our economy, and really to strengthening the American fabric.
Right. Since 2021, I saw some stats. $6.1 billion was invested by Chinese nationals or Chinese national firms here in the United States. It is, while not per unit the most, but by dollar volume, it is #1 in terms of foreign investment in the United States. So they have always been, historically, at least in the past couple of decades, big investors in the U.S. This issue has never been brought up over the past 2 decades until more recently. That said, we already have rules in place from CFIUS that's managed by the Treasury Department that can highlight potentially sensitive purchases of businesses or real estate near sensitive areas such as military installations. Isn't that already good enough? Why do we have to have more of these laws?
Well, I think the Senate Bill 168 has a component which I can support, and that's regarding agricultural land that may be near military bases. And the suggestion is to include the head of the Department of Agriculture on the CFIUS evaluation group, and that's something we can support. I think that, yes, I agree that there are existing laws that we should work with and strengthen, have a better understanding of to address this issue. Regarding the investments from China, the $6 billion that you referenced recently is actually a significant drop. It was in the 30s of billions just a number of years ago. I think that what happened is during the pandemic shutdown, a lot of things changed.
Right.
And the number of Chinese investors in this country have in fact dropped as much, if not more, than most of the other global investments.
John, look, the U.S. historically has been one of the most open, to investments from no matter which country you're from, anywhere in the world, whether you're Russian, whether you're Chinese, whether you're British or Canadian, that they've all been generally welcomed here in the United States. That said, it's not the same in reverse, right? If you and I want to buy land, for example, in Russia or in China, there are challenges. It's not so simple. Why can't we have a more fair process where countries can get together and decide on what these rules are going to be?
That, in fact, is something that the Asian Real Estate Association supports fully, is more rational discussion broadly. I think there is a recognition that not every country is as open as the United States has been. And I'll now comment that Canada has just now restricted all purchases from foreign nationals. I think that your comment about the globalization of real estate and that movement of capital and investment across borders is very critical. The ARIA in particular, because so many of our members are either immigrants or children of immigrants, and because they have a language skill and connections back with the home country, if you will, have been engaged in global transactions from ARIA's beginning.
Well, look,
and we know the value and importance of that. In fact,
this process, John, is it's going to take a little time. We're obviously going to talk about this much more, at least on this show for sure. But I did want to spend some time and talk to you about sort of the state of the real estate market, how you see it, not just in Texas, but nationally. We've seen rents calm down, maybe even inch back a little bit. We've seen home prices inch back, but now there's these two big concerns. People are worried that rent's going to go back up again. They're worried that interest rates have come back down a little bit, that home prices are going to move up again, and that's ultimately going to impact affordability. Do we have a local or national plan to solve this problem?
I think that what you're describing, part of it is interest rates. The major issue is actually supply. And what you have is a demand and supply imbalance that needs to be resolved. ARIA and other associations are actively working with local municipalities as well as state and federal regulators about a concept called repurposing. That part of the result of sort of the shifts in shopping dynamics, work from home, is that there are office buildings and shopping centers that are empty. And there is resistance to repurposing them to residential because municipalities make much more in taxes from office use or shopping use. And so, but the reality is, like in San Francisco, where I'm from, you have an empty downtown with about 30+%, maybe even more vacancy. It's much healthier to change the zoning requirements that allow repurposing a lot of these buildings into mixed use, to include residential.
Yeah. Well,
and if we improve number of units,
I share your enthusiasm for changing some of the zoning laws. I think that would help obviously rebalance some of the imbalances that we currently have post-COVID. That's all the time that I have. But John, I really want to thank you for helping us better understand this very important situation. Thank you.